Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us on our very first Ask Me Anything with the Dark Horse project and the wonderful Bianca Bustamante and Ben Reed. Hello.
Hello everyone.
Ben's dialing in today. He's out at Bathurst. There's many people out there for a race, and so the network's not being his friend, but he'll be here to answer any questions. But I'm Emma. I'm going to be your host for this evening. And my colleague Brogan, who you'll see there, he'll be moderating and he's going to be passing any additional questions that come through. He's also monitoring socials and Discord. So if you send anything through, he's got them and we'll grab those questions and hopefully answer them tonight for you, or this morning if you're in America like Bianca. Now, before we get started, I've got a couple of exciting announcements to share. So firstly, our OG whitelist, which had special pricing, has now closed, but we've saved a couple of those spots for you guys. So what you'll find a competition link in the competition channel of Discord. And at the end, I'll be sharing with you a password where you can go into the draw to win one of these NFT Access Passes. We've also got a sneak peek of the next Dark Horse artwork to share with you. So I'm going to share that at the end. So make sure you stick around for that. Now, I'm going to kick off by introducing Bianca and Ben. I'm sure you all know Bianca, our star, but let me give you a little bit of background. So Bianca Bustamante is a 17-year-old racing driver from the province of Laguna in the Philippines. She started karting at the age of 5 and soon dominated as a multiple race and champion winner across Asia and the US. In 2021, she was the only Asian driver to be selected to try out at the FIA Girls on Track Scholarship Shootout in France. She's since successfully made the transition from karting to Formula cars and is currently racing in the USF Juniors Championships as part of the Road to Indy program. She's also secured a 2-year drive at W Series Academy team, where she currently competes and scored her first points in her debut race in Miami just last week. Congrats, Bianca.
Thank you so much.
And then we have Ben Reed. He's the green phone that you can see on screen. But Ben is a seasoned founder, a chief product officer, and an angel investor. He's got over 23 years experience building new digital ventures and platforms and has led product teams for a number of sports and media brands, including KO Sports, Clutch, Foxtel, and Telstra, before starting his very own venture studio, Digital Creators. Ben's been down the Web3 wormhole for the last few years and is a pioneer of the Dark Horse. It's great to have you both here.
Thank you for having us and me.
Now, we've got a bunch of questions that have been submitted through Discord and socials to start off with, and they've been submitted over the last few days. But I do want to leave some time at the end for anyone who's live with us this evening to be able to ask any questions. So if we do run out of time, and there's questions we haven't answered, keep an eye on Discord because we'll be able to get those through and answered for you. So without further ado, let's dive in. Bianca, I'd love to start with you. We have had so many questions come through, but firstly, I just want to know, what do you love the most about racing?
The adrenaline it gives you, the feeling of driving itself. Like I've started driving ever since I was 3, so I've been accumulated to the speed, the environment, and that kind of it inspires me to go even do better. So I love driving.
That's so cool. And so you said that since you were 3, you've been into it. So how did you get into racing or karting initially?
So my dad, he was a former karter, and it's always been his dream to go pro and, to make it to Formula cars, but we've never really had the budget to make that transition for him. So he just, he showed me motorsport. He showed me karting at a very young age. He introduced me to the racetrack, to racing, and he would always bring me when I was a baby to all of his races. I guess that's kind of how it started. That's, where the passion ignited.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Wanting to follow in Dad's footsteps. Does he still kart today?
For fun.
Yeah.
I'm faster than him now.
Do you play against each other?
We used to a lot when I was in juniors, but I think I'm better than him now.
Dad, I hope you're watching. and,
Sorry.
and, and tell me, who are you impressed by the most at the moment? So who are you looking up to in the motorsports world right now?
I've been a Ferrari fan my whole life, so I'm really rooting for Ferrari and Charles. But if there was like one person I've always looked up to racing, driving, and just overall his personality was Niki Lauda. I'm a huge Niki Lauda fan. You know, he manages to pull through even the toughest situations, and he's managed to keep a clear head, and that allowed him to win various championships a lot. And I aspire to be like that one day.
That's awesome. And so you say he likes to keep a clear head. What's the one thing that you do? Have you taken something from him to be able to keep a clear head yourself?
He's always just been a rational thinker. You know, he definitely doesn't act on the moment or the situation. He takes a deep breath, think for a bit, and then that's when he acts on. So, I guess as a kid, as you know, a 17-year-old, it's a bit hard to be like that because sometimes I would act on based on my emotions, and that would result to not making good decisions. So, I'm definitely learning from him.
Wow, that's amazing. And are there any female drivers that are out there at the moment, or potentially past drivers that you've looked up to and thought that have inspired you along the way, and you've thought, wow, that could be me one day?
Um, uh, like recently, I've raced a few days ago with Jamie Chadwick. She was a bit too fast for me to get side by side with, so she's definitely one of the few people that I look up to the most because she's just so well accomplished. She holds herself very highly, and she's just such a decorated athlete, and she's achieved so much that I also would want to be like that in the future.
I'm sure you will. We're all going to help you get there. And so tell me, so you've just started in your rookie season with the W Series, and you work with a number of teams, obviously, when you're racing. It's not just you, you've got your team, you've got your engineers, your mechanics, team personnel, and teammates. How would you describe your experiences with your entire team?
It's like a whole big family whenever that I do join a new team or I'm driving for a new one. It always just feels like such a big family. You know, they inspire you, they push you so much because they want you to win. You know, everyone wants to win, and to have very good people backing you up and pushing you forward is definitely one of the key bits to being a champion. You know, it's even though I'm the one driving, it's a whole community, it's a whole team that, you know, that pushes you and results to that win. So I just love the feeling of it, and I I love working with people. I love working with communities, and I love sharing information, working together.
Awesome. And how many would there be? How many would you call your inner circle?
As many as it can get. You know, the bigger the better.
Love it, love it. And is there anything in particular when you look to the future with this team of people you've got surrounding you, helping you succeed and get to your goals? Is there anything in particular you look forward to with them?
Well, I look forward to meeting everyone. To be honest, like I've always, I've always loved meeting new people, getting to know their stories, and building relationship. Because coming from Philippines, where we're very known for our hospitality
Yeah.
because we just love meeting people, and I do hope that I get to meet everyone and get to know them and share some stories.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure you're sharing stories tonight that people are really excited to hear because all these questions have come from your community. And the next one is around what is the most iconic moment that you've had in racing so far? What's that one thing that you look back on and think, wow, I can't believe that happened?
It's just because I'm starting, like I'm only about to start my journey in the Formula car, is that I'm like every race is that moment for me. Like
Yeah.
Miami, it was amazing. And so before we started our weekend, there was an opening ceremony or party, and then we would get called on the stage, and at first we didn't know that we were gonna get called on. We thought it was only gonna be Formula One, you know, in front of like thousands and thousands of crowds on that podium. And but then they told us that the people and the organizers also wanted the W Series to be on that podium, and you know, so we were there backstage with all the F1 drivers, and then I was the first person to get called out, and it was like amazing. It's just like it's like so much adrenaline, and seeing all those people out there that was cheering on, clapping, and when they announced my name, I guess that's one of those moments where you just like it's just like a cloud nine, you know, and
Yeah.
uh, experiencing that sort of pushes me forward. I want to make it, and that fuels me so much.
Did you meet anyone in that experience? It sounds amazing. I'm just beaming listening to it. I can't even imagine. It's like a movie. Did you meet anyone that you were completely starstruck by?
Met a few. There was a lot of people during the race weekend. There was a lot of actors, a lot of racers. During backstage, we saw all the F1 drivers were doing all their interviews and everything, and I was just staring at all of them. You know, I'm a huge Formula One fan, and I support each and every one of them. I think they're all very talented and well deserved to be in that spot. So I can't name because there's like way too long. The list is way too long. You know, even at the after party, I got to meet Jamie Foxx and LeBron James. So it's like it's crazy.
That is crazy. So cool, so cool. And what about the biggest challenges you've faced so far? As you mentioned, it's early on, so I'm sure things have felt like challenges, but what are some of the biggest ones?
I think one of the biggest one is moving up from karting, because you know in the Philippines the pandemic happened, so that kind of halted my growth and progression, so I couldn't move up. And in my head, I knew that my career was coming to an end, and I would probably be retiring, and I won't be able to do what I love anymore because it's so difficult to get the funding. It's so difficult to get a seat. So, you know, and then I met Daryl Young. He is my manager, and he gave me lots of opportunities. And that led me to getting called by the W Series to do a shootout with them in Arizona. And that was the first time I've ever drove a Formula 4 car. So the past 3 months of fast tracking my progress and making sure that I'm up to speed has been really, really difficult. You know, it's also very physical. I think physically is also one of the most toughest challenges I had to face because not having driven for 2 years, my physical wasn't at its best.
Mm,
To drive a Formula 3 car, everyone knows it's very physical. It is a lot of G force, and having never done a season in a Formula car and then going straight to F3 was a big leap. So
yeah.
I guess it's one of the toughest things that I had to go through the past few months.
Yeah, watching your routine, we were talking about it just before we went live, but watching your routine on Instagram, I just look at you and think, what a powerhouse. So strong. And tell me, it must be a lot of stress and pressure to deal with. What's it like managing that at such a young age, and how do you cope with it?
It's tough. It's so demanding, the life, you know. Like I came into this not thinking where it would lead me. I mean, where it would get me, you know. I flew here to do the Arizona shootout. I never would have expected to that I would be able to receive a seat. And when I did, that's like my whole life was like 360. And now I'm traveling so many places. I'm racing, I'm driving, and I'm meeting all these people. I'm starting my own NFT and then my Discord channel, and there's just like so many things, and having to balance academic as well, and that comes with a lot of pressure. You know, I'm soon off to university,
Mm,
and I'm also trying to make a career for myself in racing. So
yeah.
there's a lot of pressure and a lot to think of, you know, as a 17-year-old, and it gets tough, especially when you don't always get the results that you want. You know, when I'm not up to speed, when I'm too weak or too that, or when I don't have good grades. So it's tough to cope with it, but I guess it also teaches me how to be strong mentally and how to, keep on fighting every day. So that's what I do. I just try to face my challenges day by day.
Yeah. Good on you, step by step, one day at a time. What are you studying?
Um, right now I'm in the strand of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So I do want to be an engineer one day, but I
Right.
also love drawing. I'm an artist, and so I'd love to do architecture as well. But we'll see because of how my life sort of went a different path with racing. So I don't think I would have the time and energy to be studying engineering right now.
Yeah, a lot of work. Well, you'll have to show us one of your drawings one day.
Well,
I'm
unfortunately.
I'm going to come back to you, Bianca. Thank you so much. I feel like I've already learned so much about you, and hopefully the community, I'm sure they're hanging by every word. But I would love to cut to Ben now as the pioneer of the dark horse. I'd just love to chat with you, Ben, about what gave you the idea. Where did the idea for the dark horse come from?
Um, yeah, well, loving tuning into you, talking about your background, Bianca. That's been good to hear as well live. I think not just in sport, but in many walks.
Oh, we've lost him. Bathurst, too many people there watching the race. But
I
Bianca,
wish I was from Bathurst.
my next question for Ben was going to be, you might actually be able to answer this, but I was going to ask him how he connected with you. But how did you connect with Ben? When did you first meet Ben?
I met him through a friend of a friend, Hugh Barter. He was also a racing driver, and he said that there is something that they're working on, and they would love to have me on the team, me and Daryl and Team Via and CBR Media, and that's like sort of where it started. I would say end of 2021 was when we met up and discussed a few things, and now it's all happening. It's like a dream come true.
I know. And tell me what excites you about the project.
Like I said, I love having a community and all these people supporting me. Like one of the best feelings in the world was after the Miami race, I opened my phone and and I was bombarded with all those Discord messages, and I found out that there was a watch party, and I was just like I was melting so much. Like it just feels like coming home, like a family waiting to hug me after my race, and that's sort of what it feels like whenever I would see those messages, and it inspires me knowing that I have people that are following along my journey and would want to, get be part of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I mean, you've probably just mentioned it, but we've had so many times people ask, is that really Bianca on Discord?
Yes, it's me. Sometimes I was worried about what I post because, like, in my head, what if they don't like it? Oh, what if it's too cringe? What if it's like awkward? And but I always, I love sharing with you guys stories like how I was in New Orleans and everything. And a funny story actually. Everyone thought I went to New Orleans for like a trip or like a vacation, but it was actually because I lost my passport. So after Miami, I went back to Indianapolis for a day for training. Then I realized, oh crap, I lost my passport in Miami. And so for the whole day, I was panicking. I was trying to get an appointment. I was booking all my flights, hotels to go to New Orleans because that's where the nearest passport agency was. And as everyone knows, I'm racing in Barcelona in a week. So I'm flying in about 4 days. So losing my passport is the worst possible thing that can happen, and it did happen. So that was really funny.
Oh, I'm glad you can laugh about it because it just sounds like to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you deal with that stress?
It was crazy because like Daryl was very busy, the whole team. So, I mean, of course, it helped me a lot, but I didn't want to burden them with, with my mess up, in my screw up. So I told myself, I need to fix this. I need to be in Barcelona, and and I need to race because I love racing. So I need to figure it out, and I did. So thankfully, it was a successful trip.
Good on you. Is that where you went to the art gallery as well? So you got to do a little bit of tourist stuff there?
I
Or?
did. Yes, it's amazing. I love New Orleans. It's like the the whole community there, the cities. It's just so lively. Like I actually went around and went to the French Quarter where the Mardi Gras would usually celebrated theirs, and it was
Yeah.
just amazing. Music everywhere, good food, lots of people, lots of street performance, and it just felt so alive, and I loved it.
Oh, I'd love to go. I haven't been, but I would love to go to New Orleans. The music, the food, it all sounds amazing.
It is.
Now, let's get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty. How did you learn about NFTs? Tell us, what's your experience been so far?
I guess with all those like crypto, it was like such a huge hit in Asia and the Philippines. Like I've had lots of friends tell me all about it. There's like earn to play games and Axie and all that stuff, and that I was like kind of at first I wasn't as interested because I didn't know anything about it, and then I was brought up into this whole crypto, NFT, blockchain, and everything, and at first I was like, am I too stupid for this? Because I don't understand what's going on. And,
I think everyone must feel like that when they first enter the crypto world. It's not just you.
and like it was crazy because even though they were introducing me to everything, we had this like debrief, I had this call, and it was just like a whole an hour or two explaining what it was. And after the call ended, I was just thinking, I had zero clue what happened. I don't even remember what they were like saying because it's like NFC is like a whole new world. Like all these words they use and all this like it's like a whole new world. And I was like, I feel like I'm too lame for NFTs right now. I don't feel like I'm cool enough to have one. And then fortunately, I'll be releasing my own. So we've come a long way.
You're definitely cool enough. I think everyone watching this would attest to the fact that you're cool enough, Bianca.
I want to that.
Oh, that's so good. And how did you learn? Like, I know you did the call where you got off and you were like, oh my gosh, this is this is a bit hectic. But what steps have you taken to learn about NFTs since then?
The first thing I did was went to Google and just type and what is NFT? Just to get like the basics and like just to learn it
Yeah.
from scratch. And from then on I was just talking to a lot of my friends who are very invested in it, and they were telling me all about it, how amazing it is. And oops, I got my dog over here.
Oh, hello.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Get him on
Sorry.
screen.
Yeah, it's all right. So they were introducing me into all of it, and then I met up with you guys, with the team, and Brogan was telling me how cool it is and all that stuff. And honestly, I'm very intrigued and interested. From as a 17-year-old, I think it really is the future,
Mm.
and I love learning new things, and it really is fun to learn.
Yeah. And I mean, Ben, we were saying, is one of the crypto nerds or Web3 enthusiasts, and he's been in the wormhole for about 3 years, which makes him an expert. So it's new to everyone. When 3 years makes you an expert, all it takes is learning, I guess. But Brogan's done an amazing job on the Dark Horse website of trying to simplify things and put all of those questions there around what are NFTs, and that a lot of people probably have questions about it. But it's definitely something that you're a bit of a trailblazer for, using it for funding your career, which is pretty exciting. Now let's jump back to a few questions around racing, shall we? NFTs, we can come back to. So I didn't notice this, but one of your fans has. One of your fans has said, I noticed that in Spain, testing 91 is your number. Then in Miami, it changed to 9. Any reason why?
Originally, it's because I always run the number 119, and that's because of my birthday, January 19th. But I found out in cars you're only allowed to run, well, for Formula cars you're only allowed to run 2-digit numbers. So it's only from 1 to 9, from 99. So I couldn't run my numbers. So I was just thinking, oh, I'll just do 19. And then I found out I can't do it because it was already taken the W series by a driver, Marta Garcia, and she's an amazing, lovely driver, and she's just so dedicated to that number. She had it tattooed on her wrist. So I
Wow.
was like, all right, you're very committed. I'll let you have the number. You're more committed than I am. So I'll go and stick with something else. And that's more the 91 came, and I was just like, it feels slow. 91 feels slow because 91 is like, I guess, towards the back. So I was like, I want to run 9. And we made that change from Barcelona to Miami. I was like, okay, it's final. I'm gonna run 9. So that's where the number is.
And then am I right in saying your first race you were top 10 and you were 9th?
I know, that's the funny thing as well. I guess it was a coincidence. I mean, if I knew, I would have run number 2 or 3 at least.
Yeah.
I would have been on the
It's
podium.
definitely a coincidence. Oh, that's so amazing. Now give me 1 second. I'm just gonna, Ben seems to be coming back into the room, but I want to ask you this next question because I love that it's come through. Welcome back, Ben.
The joys of technology. I think I'm back.
That's all right. We've just been having a chat, meeting Bianca's dog, all sorts of things. I've got one more question that I'd love to ask Bianca because I love that someone's asked this, and then I'm going to jump over to you, Ben. But I'm guessing that you have had your training and diet for the W Series. There's probably been a pretty strict routine. What's your perfect cheat day? What do you love to eat on a cheat day?
Everything. Like whenever if I have the luxury to eat what I want, I will go on a binge. Like I'd go from sushi to Chick-fil-A to pizza to just everything, and chocolate. Because I know that, like before, I would always take it for granted. That's why I was like really thin. I was really thin and I had problems in my weight because I just, I wasn't eating properly. And now that I have to eat like an athlete and eat lots of protein, eat the right way, I kind of miss, having the luxury of eating just whatever you want. And I took that for granted. So now whenever I do get the chance to do that, I just go all out. All
Nice.
out.
Pizza would be my go-to as well. Now let's jump back over to Ben. Ben, I think we got to the very first question around how did you have the idea about the dark horse, but over to you. Give us a little bit of an intro about how you and the dark horse came to be.
Yeah, I think I'll go about 5 words in before
Yeah.
the Bathurst interception conked out. I think not just in sport, but in many walks of life, people reach that point where they want to go full time with their passion or their craft or something that they've been wanting to do full time, and often the realities of life and cash flow kick in, and I think particularly in categories of sport where you've got like a high capital requirement to compete, like we have in motorsport, it can very much be a have or have nots. And so I think what we saw with the dark horse was a chance to kind of do something that is very consistent with the notion of NFTs, which is building a fan base early on, and actually allowing people to have like a front row seat in someone's journey. So there's quite a famous article which I've referred to a few times around 1,000 true fans, which basically says that if you can get 1,000 true fans in your world early on that want to support you and back your career, you can actually turn that into a full-time pursuit. And so, yeah, we felt like it was a right time, right place to do this in sport, and with Bianca, who's very early on in her career, but can generate.
Oops.
Oops-a-daisy. At least we got a little bit of the intro. I love that. What I also loved about the projects that potentially Ben was getting to, but there's just so much about breaking stereotypes around what you're doing, and I think by having something that supports you in a unequal world when it's so expensive to become a race car driver, I think it's really awesome that we can launch something that lets your fans support you in more than just celebrating and being there on the sidelines. It's really cool. But don't fear, Bianca, I've got many more questions from your fans, so I'm going to scroll down. Back on the regime, but a little bit more to what sort of music do you like to do when you're working out? Like, what's your workout playlist? What's your go-to?
So tough. Whenever people ask me this, I'm just like, I give up. I don't even know myself. It's because I listen to so much like different genres, but if there was a song that like my go-to song, like when I'm just listening to work out and whether I need to feel pumped, I would definitely play Glorious by Macklemore. Just I love the beat and I love the lyrics, and it kind of shows, it kind of resonates with my journey as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You might have to start a Spotify playlist or something and share it in the Discord.
I have bomb music, amazing taste.
Oh, I love it. I love the confidence. Yeah, you'll have to share then.
I don't.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure it will resonate with a lot of your fans. And tell me, so the current helmet, this is another fan question. The current helmet you're using is a plain bare carbon finish. Do we get to see one with design?
Yes.
Really?
Unfortunately, my helmet won't make it in time if we do send it off to get it painted. So I'm getting my helmet. I'm gonna debut it on for the Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. So that's gonna be where you first see my helmet, my actual helmet. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We've worked really, really hard designing it, and I do hope that you guys love it as well.
So how much do you work with a team of people to design that, or how much input do you have?
I personally worked with the designers and everyone. I told them what I would want in a helmet, and I sort of like give the inspiration for the theme of the helmet and the color palette and everything. And I really love it personally. I think it's one of my favorite helmets yet that I'm gonna have. I've had a lot the past few years from karting and cars, but I guess this one's my favorite yet. It's so vibrant, and there's a meaning to it that I just can't wait to share with you guys.
I wish you could share it with us now. I'm like, tell us.
Yeah, I will. I mean,
yeah,
I'll need to ask because honestly, I can't wait. It really has deep value for me, and it shows. I guess it kind of just resonates to my personality as well and what I believe in. So I really can't wait.
Oh, that's so cool. We can't wait either. And now tell me, if we go back to the Dark Horse project, what is your hope for the Dark Horse project? Where do you see this going?
Well, the goal is to be in Formula One. That's forever will be my goal, no matter what happens. And I do hope that I will have you guys, right there with me on that journey to making it there, even though when it gets really, really tough, and I'm sure it will. But I guess that's what a community is. You don't leave when it gets tough. You stick to the end and you wait until you see the light, past the tunnel. So it's my goal for all of this.
That's amazing. And the finances and the funds that come from the Dark Horse Access Pass, a huge majority of that goes to you and your career. And so it's definitely a huge part of being able to support that. Very cool. Well, I'm glad I can be on the journey with you. Now, we have a little surprise. So it's almost time to wrap up. Brogan, if you've got any questions, more questions coming through from community, feel free to send them through.
I actually have a few questions from my Instagram
Oh,
stories.
do you? Do you want to read them out?
Yeah, I feel terrible if I don't answer them. So,
Of course.
because
Yeah, let's take it away.
I'll answer a few once I've pulled up my phone, but I'm on 1%. So, it's really tough. I'm so sorry. I'll put it
Get
up
to
right
whatever
now.
you can while you've got battery, and then we can pop the rest into
All right.
or Discord if you run out of battery. But if you can get to them, we'd love to answer them now.
Panicking.
No, don't panic. It's time.
I always just leave my phone low battery. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, so what is my favorite Filipino dish? I love Filipino food, by the way. It's so savory, it's so sweet, it's so salty, it's like just everything. And if there's one I would just eat every single day, it would probably be this is so tough. Bulalo, because I love soup, and it's beef, like it's sort of beef with soup, and they boil it, and it's like so yummy. It's really hot. It's really good, especially when it's raining or cold weather. So I love that food. And with
Yeah.
the rice, like when I went here to America, I'm like, or like in Europe, no one eats rice. So I was like, this is gonna be so tough. I need to learn how to eat like bread, cereal, and everything in the morning because they don't eat rice. So that's a big transition for me, but I do my best to eat rice whenever I can.
Yeah, awesome. What else have you got?
um, there's a lot, and then some of them are like really funny. Okay, here, do you have any ritual before the race? I do. I'm a Catholic, and I've always been a religious kid growing up. So my parents would always bring me to all the mass and everything, and I feel like I'm really, I really want to keep a good connection to God, and so I would always just pray before the race, ask for guidance, and ask for support, and I hope that He keeps me safe and He helps me power through, any hindrance that I would have to face. So it definitely keeps me calm, and it just keeps my motivation up and my morale. So I love doing it.
Awesome.
Mm,
Not that you're now asking yourself the questions.
I'm not asking myself the questions.
I just get to hear it. It's great.
There's a lot. Like, it's just like some of them are like really funny. Like, coming from Instagram, it's just like, are you single? Um, are you a good chess player? And I was just like, it's so irrelevant, but it's so funny. Yes, I played chess a lot. During my junior high, when during the pandemic, I played chess a lot. Prior to that as well, and I won lots of championships and competitions in the Philippines for chess. And I just love like how of a mental game it is. It's, I guess it's sort of similar to racing, how you need to make your moves, but you need to think, 3 steps back if that's going to benefit you or not. And it's amazing. Like, I guess it also trains my mind as well to think of not think in the moment and think 3 steps ahead and plan your moves before executing it. So it's definitely helped me become a better racer. So I love playing it.
I love that connection. That's cool. I've
Yes,
got a question here while you look for another one, but I've got a question here that's come through from Discord, which I love. Have you ever had a project car? And if not, what's your dream car and why?
oh gosh, this is too tough because like there's so many cars. Like the shirt I'm wearing now, it's a JDM car. So, I guess it's like the R34 or something, and I just love JDM. And coming from Asia, like I think everyone there is a big JDM fan, and I love Supras. And if I do get the opportunity to build my own car once I get my license, I would love to own a Supra. a Supra and possibly an S14 or 13. I just love it.
Cool. I'm sure you'll get that one day. Once...
Get a license first.
Well, I love that. I love that you're racing cars. You're like, once I get my license. I've got another one. Who do you think will win in 2022? Charles, I'm not going to try and pronounce the last names, but Charles or Max? Charles or Max?
Oh no. Well, I would say Charles because I'm a fan, but it's really competitive. I think they are really on a different level compared to everyone else. I don't think anyone can come close to their competition. And I don't want to count anyone out. Like Lewis is not having a great start of the year, but I really do think he's a very accomplished driver, and it's difficult to count him out. But yeah, I can't personally pick because if I made a decision, it would be very biased because of who I support.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know whoever wins, it will be very well deserved. They're both very fast, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions you want to answer that have come through your Instagram?
Here. What is for you the best way to deal with bad days or bad moments? This one's really tough because unfortunately with racing we lose more than we win, and winning is like the best thing that can ever happen, and unfortunately it never really goes that way. And it's a very long race. You can be leading till the very last lap and lose it. So it like those moments is really tough, especially when it's your own fault. And I've definitely dealt with that throughout my career. There was a lot of times where I made the mistake and it costed me the win, and there was just a lot of self blame, self hatred, and that is exactly what you do not do. That is the complete thing that you have to avoid is just putting yourself down or blaming yourself or just, you know, it's okay to be hard on yourself, but not to a point where you lower yourself down,
Mm.
and 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 it's tough because you love what you're doing, you have so much passion for it, and whenever it doesn't go the right way and it's completely your fault, the first person you blame is yourself. So for me, what I do is I just tell myself that no matter whose fault it is, mine, the car, or whatever, it's just another race, and it's just another one of those days, another one of those bad days, and eventually it will pass. And by the time you even think about it, the next race will come along, and it's that's when you get back up and you fight back. So that's just what I do. I try to keep it really positive, even though it's really tough. And I would get support or motivation from my team, or to Daryl, or my family and my friends, and just try to keep the morale up and fight back the next race.
I love that. It's kind of like what you mentioned before, that day by day, just looking at each day, what can you do on
Yep.
that day? Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, my phone's now.
I've got a couple more that have come through from Discord, so I can keep asking, where did we get to last time here? Is it simple to race on Kimono racing circuit? If so, do you have any tips for karting?
So Carmona is where where I first got a podium my career in
Cool.
karting. So it's very memorable for me because you never forget your first. I think out of like all the championships I won, the thing that I will always think of is my first, which was in Carmona, and it's an amazing track. They've remodeled it a few times. It's different now to what it was back then. They've added a few turns or a lot of turns, and so it made it a lot more difficult to compare to what it was back then. So I just love driving there. Whenever I'm in the Philippines, I just do my best to be able to do seat time in the shifter cart because it trains you up so much. Like I love karting. It's just something I would always go back to clear my mind up or
Yeah.
to train physically. And if there's any tips that I can give is that like for driving, it's the only like the best training and to get better at it is to keep on driving and to drive every single time. Like for me, when I was growing up, I would spend every weekend at the track, just driving around in circles, not, not thinking anything, just getting the feel and getting accumulated to just speed. I think one of the biggest worries of drivers or like car like enthusiasts is like how fast it goes, and at first it can be very daunting, and that's why you spend so much time practicing and training before you get into competition. Like for me, i I trained for about 4 to 3 years, I mean 3 to 4 years of my life. I started driving at the age 3, but my first ever race or official competition was when I was 6. So I
Yeah.
had those 3 years of just learning and driving, and I guess that's how you improve and how you get better at it. Unfortunately, in Formula cars, you don't get to have the same seat time because of how expensive it is. But
Yeah.
with karting, it's not expensive. Like buying a cart, it's not that much. It's about buying a second hand cart is about 5,000 US dollar, and then practicing is about it's $200. Fuel and everything. So just drive as much as you can, and eventually you'll become fast. Like it's not rocket science. It just sort of comes natural.
Yeah, definitely to you it does. That's awesome.
Um,
And I've heard that it is there's a lot of reflection required, and how you then look at your race and take that into the next one. There's a lot of learning that happens along the way.
yeah, well, I mean, for me, like after the race, you would always go and debrief and look at data and videos. And the funny thing about looking at it is that you can't lie. Like
Mm.
for me, I would always try to get away with a book of excuses. I would be like, oh, the engine's slow, the car is so unstable, that's why I can't push into the corner. But they look at the video and the data, and the car is perfect. So it's not. So I always get caught lying of saying that it's not me, but it was me.
Your parents must love that.
Ah, they don't. My parents are my biggest and worst critic. Oh, my biggest and best and worst critic. They're very critical of me. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm so competitive in what I do or in anything that I do, is because they brought me up in such a competitive manner that I always need to be good at this and that. And that's purely just because I don't get to have the luxury of other people of having lots of opportunities or having another chance. So whenever I do get an opportunity, I really need to perform, because then I might probably would never get it again. We don't have the budget
Yeah,
to keep on racing. So yeah.
yeah. And you've been practicing for almost your whole life. You started when you're 3. It's crazy. And what else have we got coming through? Oh, this one's what's your favorite road car? Is that the same as the ones you mentioned before, or is there a different one if you were to?
Yeah, it's also a road car.
Yeah.
Well, if there was like when I get older, and if I do become an F1 driver, I would love to own a Rolls Royce one day. One
Cool.
day. It's a long shot, but you gotta dream big, and
Yeah,
hopefully
absolutely.
you gotta shoot for the moon, and eventually you land at the stars or something. So
Oh, I love that. I think we've got time for this last one. Would you ever consider coming to South Africa? We have some amazing kart and race tracks, and I'm sure you would enjoy the vibe here.
I've been invited a few times to go to South Africa, and I've always wanted to go. I know I've heard a lot of great things about there, the beaches, the racetracks, and the people, and I would love to go. I would love to go, but the thing is, the pandemic happened. So by the time I was planning to race there and this and meeting people, doing the teams and everything, making plans, it just never went through because of how hard it was to travel around. And I mean, for Australia, I know that they locked down the whole country, and only recently it was allowed to enter. And I guess that's how it is for Asia as well. So it was very hard for me, but I would love to go one day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would love to go. What a cool country. Now that I think that's all we've got time for the questions, because I've got something that I would love to show to you for the first time, as
I
well as
know.
to your
I
fans. So
was
we've got
talking
it.
about it backstage, and I was like, I have to know.
So we've got a
Okay.
little preview of the Dark Horse artwork for the NFT Access Pass. And Bianca, just so your fans know, you're seeing this for the first time, right?
I am, and I'm nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah, I am.
Don't be nervous. Let me just share my screen, make sure I've got the tech right.
You got this.
We've got this. All right, let me play the first preview of our NFT Access Pass artwork.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Tell me, what are your thoughts?
The visor, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm honestly like, because I'm seeing it for the first time, I'm like, I mean, it's so cool because like I envisioned it, like when we were talking about what was the NFT was gonna be like and everything. I was just like envisioning everything and seeing it come true, and like it's an actual piece now. It's amazing. Like we've worked toward this for a long time, for the past few months, and seeing it for the first time, I'm so shocked. I can't believe you guys kept this from me and you didn't.
We had to just for this.
I was so like out of it. Like I didn't even know that we were like revealing it or something today. So I was like,
Well, you, as along with the community watching at the moment, are the first to see it. And Lance, what an awesome job! I know he's watching. So
Lance is amazing. Lance, I'm pretty sure he's watching, but you're amazing. You are.
He's done such a cool job. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the chat, we've also got our OG whitelist that's closed, but we've saved a few spots. So if you jump to the Discord, like I mentioned earlier, there's a link to the Ask Me Anything competition we're running, and it's on the pre-mint of in the competition channel. So for those of you not on Discord, you can also find it in the YouTube chat. But the easiest way is just to jump to Discord, and there'll be a link in there for you to go to. And so what you want to do is retweet one of our posts, tag 3 of your friends, and then also use the password Barcelona with a capital B. And that will be your password to be able to get into the competition. So it'll take you to a website and you pop in the password there. So that's Barcelona, Barcelona with a capital B, and then you'll be in the running for a spot on the whitelist. The competition is going to close in 24 hours, so your best bet's just to jump on now and do that. And we're also going to run more of these Ask Me Anythings with you, Bianca. So for the community,
so much.
Yeah, it's been so cool chatting. We love the feedback of the community. So the questions that have come through have all been sourced from your fans. And so anything you'd like to see or hear next time, make sure you let us know in our Discord. Brogan will be chatting to you on there, and we'll keep you in the loop about the invitation for next time. But Bianca, is there anything you would like to say to your fans before we head off?
Thank you so much. I mean, we've like ever since the Dark Horse came out, we've come a long way, and there's been a lot of people that are really really supportive and are really so interested about it. And I'm honestly so shocked. Like whenever this project was brought up to me, I was just like, I don't think I have enough fans for people to want to follow me in my journey. And I was just like, what? but now that I'm honestly so shocked and stunned that people really do want to get behind the journey and the behind the scenes of what it's like for me to train, do all this, balance everything. And I would love to make all those content for you guys. And I think it's really fun, and I do hope that I get to inspire other people, racing enthusiasts, to try it out and eventually become a racer as well.
Awesome. Well, we've definitely got a lot of fans out there, and we'll all be watching for Barcelona. So good luck. You won't need it. You'll do amazingly. And just thank you for having us. It's been awesome to be a part of the journey, and can't wait for minting date. Bring on the 25th.
I'm excited.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are around the world.
I'm
Bye.
actually off to the racetrack right now. I'm gonna do a bit of commentating for the Road to Indy race.
Oh, amazing.
If you guys
Amazing.
are still up for that and awake, I'll send the link on Discord and you guys can hear me again.
Definitely do that and keep us posted on socials. Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, Bianca. It was good chatting.
Thank you. I had lots of fun. Have a
Me
great evening and day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.